today for another Beauty Live. My name is Dora, and I will be your host today. Now, today's Exchange Beauty Live is extra special because we are joined by none other than Bee Shapiro, founder of Ellis Brooklyn. And we are also super excited to hear her story. Welcome, Bee.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
I am excited to hear again your story and to tell us all about your fragrances. So, how did Ellis Brooklyn get started?
We're so excited to be part of Exchange Live, and we're brand new to the environment. And the story is actually 10 years old. We've been around for 10 years. I like to say it's my third child, but I actually was pregnant with my daughter Ellis, living in Brooklyn when I started the line. And it's a perfume line, but it's also clean and vegan and cruelty free. And that was super important to me because at the time, I was the New York Times beauty columnist for beauty and celebrity. So, I was covering fashion weeks, I was backstage at those fashion weeks, I was also at a celebrity column. And I really just felt like, as much as I loved all the fragrance events that I went to, that there could be something more. And by that, I meant a lot of the fragrance names were completely not understandable. You also have to remember this was like 10 years ago, right? And so the fragrance environment was super intimidating. And I just felt like there was a way where we could take recognizable fragrance notes and then romanticize them for our everyday lives. I'm a mom of two. I'm super busy. When I get up in the morning, I just want that little escape when I spray fragrance on myself because I literally have 10 minutes to get ready. So that's how it started. And it literally started out in my apartment, slowly grew that. I think my first purchase orders, I literally carried them up and down 4 flights of stairs. So it's been a really fun journey. And then fast forward to today, launching at Exchange Live this past year. It's just been such a fun journey and also just fun to really share this love of scents. And, for those that have children out there, I just think it's been so interesting and fascinating to see this love of scent really grow in our country. And I say that because if you look at Europe or Middle East, there is this deep, deep history with fragrance, right? You can think about the French fragrance houses and things like that. But in the US, we haven't really had that deep sort of heritage with fragrance. And I feel like it's coming. It's been coming since COVID and TikTok and perfume talk and all this stuff. And it's just such a fun topic. I always say fragrance is not a necessity. It literally is like that little cherry on top of your day. So what can I say? I think fragrance is super fun.
I love it. I love it. And of course, it's always feels so good when somebody says or compliments you, say, "Oh, you smell so good," or you smell somebody else walking by. You're like, "Wow, what is that?" But something you mentioned is really important to our customers. And I know celebrities are into vegan and cruelty free, but a lot of our customers appreciate that clean feature as well. So it's really cool to hear that that was a major point in creating your brand.
Oh yeah, I was pregnant with my daughter Ella. So literally I was testing while I was pregnant when we first kicked off. And it's just become like the baseline for who we are. And I think it's not so much that it affects the scent at all. The scent still needs to be just as beautiful as if it wasn't clean, right? But I think for us, it's just powerful and meaningful to have that as our baseline, and to be made in the US, which we are, is super important to us as well.
Awesome. That actually is extra points from our customers made in the US. And of course, just want to remind our customers that are watching today that you always enjoy that 15% less than MSRP. So, on top of getting to meet the founder of Ellis Brooklyn, you get to enjoy 15% less than MSRP anywhere else. So, we're going to start talking about some of the fragrances.
Yes, so I'm going to start with talking about my favorite. So
Okay.
I mentioned that I love the idea of using fragrance as escapism. I just feel like we need those moments, like every time you turn on the news or something going on, the day so crazy with logistics, with kids' sports, and just work life in general. I think is just we're just living in a time where we really deserve that little self treat. And so I don't care which season it is, but I love a getaway and a spray. And this girl right here is our hero. She's called Miami Nectar, and she's really inspired by my 20s and 30s living in New York. I won't tell you what age I am right now, but but I spent that time really trying to escape New York in the winter. And it was these really memorable trips for me where I'd scrape together the money for airfare and fly down to Miami and just live that sort of like, I don't have any mortgages and kids life. And I thought it was just so glamorous. And I still think it is so glamorous because Miami has also grown up and changed and become this very, very sophisticated city. And so the shape of the bottle is our classic signature shape, but I colored it this color because laying flat as you're flying into Miami, it looks like the pools as you're flying over, that like Art Deco kind of pool. So, but I am obsessed with packaging because I feel like it is part of the whole experience of scent, but I also, of course, love what is inside. So we also have a magnetic cap, by the way, which
Yes, I noticed that when I pulled it off. And by the way, yes, she looks and smells like vacation. Definitely.
so this is a pink pineapple girly, and I just love the idea, like I said, of taking a very recognizable fragrance note, which in this case, people will smell it and immediately know it is this pineapple, but to really elevate it, take it to that sophisticated level, take it to that compliment getting level. And so this has pink pineapple, coconut water, a little bit of vanilla in the back, but this is really capturing that very glamorous, almost South American sort of swagger that Miami has. And she literally is our top seller. And this is actually what we launched with at Exchange Live. And I just think she's very, as you spray her, it's one of those scents, literally everybody's like, what's that? You know, what was that? What was that? And it's fruity, it's very joyful, but it's also sophisticated. And I think that's super important to me because you can get, fruit notes kind of anywhere. You can get them in body care, you can get them in body mist, but I really felt like if you're going to do it in fine fragrance, which this is an eau de parfum, so this is actually 25% scent concentration in our case for this specific scent, that it needed to be special. And I just love actually, even today in New York, it's actually unseasonably warm. I know it's raining in Dallas right now, right?
It is. And that actually this is coming in handy. It's like I said, feels like vacation, even though it's raining.
Exactly. So there's like two ways you could take
Mhm.
it, right? Like you could say, oh my gosh, it's rainy and dismal outside. I'm going to spray this on and be taken to Miami. Or you can say, oh my gosh, it's still unseasonably warm. It'd be so weird to wear a heavy scent in New York right now. So I love to use scent that way, is to both sort of keep your mind, attached to current right now, or to also super escape from whatever it is that you see outside your window or that you have planned for the day. And I'm not a big rule person when it comes to where you spray. I think sometimes people get kind of carried away with like, oh, you only can wear it in your pulse points. Oh, you can only wear it where. And definitely, if you're seeking longevity, which we'll talk about later, I think it is important, especially if you want your scent to broadcast itself, that you are spraying on some pulse points. But I think it's also important to remember that it's not just your it's not just your wrist, and it's not just your neck area when you're spraying pulse points, because your wrist actually is where you wash your hands the most, and you're gonna not have a whole long longevity just because you have water and soap and running down there. So I'm a big believer, spray where you want, but if you want performance, you do have to think about multiple pulse points. So you certainly have your neck and your wrist, but you also have the back over here, your back of your legs. Don't forget, like, we are a 360, we're a three-dimensional human being.
Yeah.
We have our back of our legs. We have our other hot spots. I like, even if I'm going out for a date night, I actually kind of like to do the back of my neck because it kind of carries into your hair. And to really think about carrying that whole aura of Miami in this case.
Those are great tips. Yeah, a lot of us don't think about other areas where we could apply. So thank you for that.
Yeah. And then the other one that I absolutely love, this one actually is brand new. It launched this year and actually, I believe, just launched at Exchange Live, is Guava Granita. This is like a scent sister, we like to say, to Miami Nectar because she is also very tropical, very vacation coded. For anybody who watches White Lotus, it's very much like a White Lotus vacation in a bottle. Uh, I like to joke that people who live in cities like you and I, Dora, love like we vacation the hardest. Like we are the ones when it's the middle of winter and we just want to go to the islands or we just want to go to Florida or we just want to go somewhere. It is we just are in that mode right away. And with Granita, she is literally a little bit like that cocktail that you're gonna have right when you step off the plane. And she is a very interesting combination because she has guava juice, she has banana. She also has almond milk. So it's a creaminess, but it's not too heavy. And she also has a tiny bit of coconut, but definitely not as coconut forward as Miami Nectar. She's a little richer, a little warmer. And the inspiration for this is actually Palm Springs. So I want to capture not just Coachella and not just all the concerts of Palm Springs, but that very chic, there's these amazing houses in Palm Springs. And you'll notice that we are often, most often, inspired by American locations. Because I also feel like in fragrance, a lot of fragrance brands are inspired by foreign locations. And I really want to bring that home. And so for me, thinking about Palm Springs, it's those off times, like you're driving over from LA, you have these chic postmodern houses, you have the country clubs, and that's Guava. It's like I joke, but it's the it's a girl who's playing tennis at a country club. She's not that good at tennis, but she
Oh,
looks really good doing it.
yeah, and she smells really good as
And
well.
she smells really good too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna smell like a big cocktail before I leave this live. And she's definitely a little bit sweeter than Miami Nectar. Miami Nectar definitely has sweetness to it, but guava has that cocktail, a really like overdose kind of vibe in the sense that overdosing is just like, oh my gosh, this intense, yummy guava juice and banana.
Yeah, and you know what? Use the word intense, and they are, but they're not overly, in your face. They're really soft at the same time. So I love both of these. And something you mentioned, I need to remind our exchange tribe, beauty tribe, that if you can't get into the store, you can go to shopmyexchange.com. And so all of these are new to the exchange, but you can order on our website as well. And you do get the 15% less than MSRP as well.
Yes, definitely a special price for you guys, of course. And then just a fun little tidbit. We have these little leopard icons all throughout our packaging. You'll see them here too.
Oh, very cute.
And because I was a writer for so long, I wanted this icon, and the icon is actually a play off of a literary lion. So when you have made it as a writer, you're called a literary lion amongst your peers. But I wanted to sort of, because Ellis Brooklyn is this modern brand, I wanted to create my own little literary leopard. So it's just a funny little inside tidbit. But I also wanted to talk about our transition to fall. And I think there's, when we talk about our fragrance wardrobes, I feel like we talk about our clothing wardrobes so much. I do think that when we talk about our scent wardrobes, it's less talked about in a strategic way. I think we definitely make the changes on our own, and we definitely will gravitate towards warmer scents, thicker scents, much more potent scents in the winter. But I also think we're doing that sort of instinctually. And I think there's a way to do it strategically. So I say that because a lot of parts of the country still is still really warm. And I think you want to capture both that fall vibe and you want to sort of transition away from your summer sense if you want to. That's your like mood right now. But at the same time, you have to look at the reality is that places are really warm. Like today in New York, it's 76 degrees and muggy. So is wearing that super heavy amber scent the right choice, right? Even though it's fall. So I love a transitional scent. I love a transitional scent because they're almost seasonless. You literally can kind of wear them any time of year. So for example, if you are wearing a fruity gourmand but has some richness to it, then you can wear it in the summer at night for date night, right? So there I love to think of the transitional scent sort of as like your real basics in your scent wardrobe so that way you can, take them out at any weather. And so my two of my favorites for transitional are Deer Sky, which is actually inspired by Texas ranch water.
Oh,
Is
we know about that.
yeah.
Awesome.
And also Apple Love. So I will start with deer sky first because you could smell deer sky and you can actually think, is this spring? But it could also be now because it's not tropical coated. It is more this super captivating, fresh, fruity floral. Have you smelled this yet, Dora?
You know what? I don't know that that is one that we received. So tell me about it.
Oh my gosh, I have to send it to you, of
Yes,
course.
please.
We have a blended family. I'm divorced. I've been with my partner now for 5 years. He has two girls and they grew up in San Antonio, and now one of them is at Austin at UT. And so I've been spending a lot of time in Texas, and I am captivated, like I said, about the US because I have traveled a lot. I've actually traveled a lot internationally, but I felt like, especially post-COVID for me, I really started exploring the US and just how beautiful our country is. And I was fascinated by the hill country, but also the sort of equestrian horse riding because they all kind of cross over. Like we have equestrian in the Northeast, but it's still that horse culture. And then in Texas, you have the ranches, and I just found them so unique. Like, how interesting is that as part of our culture, right? And my at the time, my youngest daughter was also riding horses, so I was really inspired by this idea of spending, the day outdoors in this sort of uh, it's a drier environment in the hill country and sort of like on the horses and with the leather, etc. And the end of the day, I just wanted to refresh myself with a ranch water. And that's Deer Sky. So my second daughter is actually Sky. So that's where that came from. And this one is iridescent to really match the scent. The scent is super sparkly. It opens up with this really delicious strawberry leaf peony note, and it takes you into this really lovely and soft powdery dry down. It's sort of like a perfect way to sort of settle down your day if I was imagining how I created this. But in reality, it's also a great way to start your day because you want to feel that fresh, pretty, feminine feeling. And so I always say it's the golden light in Texas Hill Country, like at that dusk time where you are ready for that ranch water.
Well, being native Texan, I can agree with everything you just said about the hill country and our ranches or farms. It's a great place to raise a family, to live. So it's so nice to see. And for our customers as well, your whole American theme to all of your products is it's really special. And I'm so glad that we are getting it at the exchange.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it's so interesting when you look at perfume world, right? It's always Italy or France. I mean, I make fun of it with my team and that how many more Italian Riviera fragrances do we need? Um, and why not mine the culture that we are living in? And it's so beautiful. Like the country is beautiful. So yeah, I'm so happy to hear that. I also wanted to show you, this is more of a classic fall sort of scent, and that's Apple Love. Apple Love is a fruity gourmand with amber notes in it. And this one I say is more traditional fall because I think the way, the media or other people communicate to us about fall, there is this warm textural, you're wearing your tweeds or your velvets or your corduroys. And so there is this textural element to it to fall because of the difference in your clothing. So I wanted to capture that in a fruity fragrance because I think sometimes with fruity fragrances, they can be super bright. And I think that's what Miami Nectar is. And I think that's what guava is. It's that bright, sunny feeling. This one I wanted to feel ultra smooth, ultra sensual, even though it was fruity. So it's called Apple Love because it's a love letter to the Big Apple, which is New York City. And my favorite season in New York is fall because that's when Fashion Week is, that's when everybody's back from the summer. There's just this like very chic energy of running around the city from September to October to November. So I definitely want to make sure if I was making a fall coated scent to really be referencing the city that our company is based in. So apple, definitely red apples in the scent notes. But the part I was talking about, the texture, is that there's actually peach skin in here. And that is that fuzzy kind of feeling soft and smooth. And that for me makes me feel all cozy and just references that fall sort of mood and vibe. I don't know about you, but one of my favorite things to do if I do have spare time on a Sunday is to really get in my coziest clothes, whether that's your sweats or your sweaters, and just like I've been seeing it on social media as like brain rot, like sit on the couch. I have two kids, so I'm always running them around. So if I do have free time, I can just imagine like cozying up with a blanket, reading a book, watching TV, like doing something completely unproductive. And that's Apple Love. I would definitely wear Apple Love for that. It's sweet, but it's also sensual. And I'm a liberal sprayer. I don't believe in just one spray. And then the other tip I would say is definitely don't rub. A lot of people like to rub because they feel the alcohol in their skin. So they're like, oh my gosh, I gotta rub it off. If you rub after you spray, you will rub away your top notes.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, we some of us have a habit of rubbing. That's just like immediate response or
Yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
Sometimes even when you do this, you're rubbing away the top notes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for that tip. Hey, by the way, I wanted to kind of shout out to a couple of our viewers just real quick because
Yeah.
we have somebody, we have Yasmina watching from Fort Campbell in Kentucky. And, actually, we have viewers from all over the world. So some of them will watch this a little bit later tonight. They're just in different time zones. But we've got somebody from Fort Campbell, somebody from Fort Bragg. So shout out to you guys for watching us. And don't forget all of the products that Bee is telling us about are available on shopmyexchange.com. And we love everything she's sharing with us. So thank you so much for watching today. But anyhow, I think we have a couple of other fragrances you want to mention.
Yeah. So one of the biggest things I hear about a lot with fragrance is longevity. And longevity, I have to say, is very similar to dressing. And by that I mean if it's cold outside, that means the environment is dry. It means that it's cold, and so you will layer, right? So similarly, as we're heading into the cold season, you do have to think about that. You do have to think about the environment. And if you want your scent to last, it is ideal to layer your fragrances. So like I said, our eau de parfums are 25% scent concentration, which is a very high. I would say most eau de parfums are 20%. We're at 25. But even that being said, if it's 20 degrees outside and it's dry, you're sitting in heaters, and whatnot, that kind of environment, your fragrance will evaporate away. And the other thing is that is also why when in the winter we tend to gravitate towards heavier fragrances. That's exactly why. It's because you can tolerate more of it, right? Whereas if it's hot outside, you may not be able to tolerate a really heavy fragrance because you'll be like, oh my gosh, that's nauseating or that's sickening or whatever it is because you're absorbing so much more of it. So I love to layer with body care, and I also, which is like lotions and oils, etc. But I also want just to sort of mind pivot here, and that body care is also body mist, which we have. And I actually think that this is a really great way to transition your wardrobe. So if you are already wearing something lighter side, but you take our Vanilla Sin, which is this gorgeous vanilla and cherry fragrance. And by the way, this is glass with this amazing atomizer. It's like very smooth. And if you layer this over something you already have that's lighter, you can really get more bang for your buck out of your scent wardrobe because body mists are more affordable, but they also are lighter in concentration. So this one is 12%. So we do have a very high concentration for body mist as well. That's normally the concentration of like a eau de toilette. So it does give you this extra layer. The only thing with body mist is you do need to apply them a little more often. So this is almost sort of like an accent, and you can take this body mist with you throughout the day and reapply this as opposed to reapplying your perfume if you wanted to. I also love peaches after the gym because I think, we have to think about like timing. What is our life like when we buy scents? It's scents that we love, but also how do we live our lives? And I think that with peaches, it's a super bright, super fresh peach, of course, but also there's some light floral notes that's really feminine. And it really gives a lovely sort of back frame after you work out, like after you work out, let's say you have to go somewhere really quickly. It's just nice freshen up uppener for yourself, and it won't, it really is so light and airy that it's not going to sort of disturb everything else that you are already wearing or smelling like. And then the other one is, if you do want to, I love sand actually layered with Miami nectar. If you are in a really warm area, because it sounds like people are stationed everywhere, do consider also to sort of make yourself a signature scent. So like you have the pink pineapple here. This is like a really yummy brown sugar coconut, the sand is, and you can spray that with your Miami nectar, and suddenly you have a super unique, delicious scent that is all yours. And we talked about scent compliments earlier, but how great is it to just be remembered by your amazing scent? Like be that girl in the room who smells amazing. So I love this one actually.
Yeah, I love you that you said that about that's how I think about body mists also, like almost like a travel fragrance. And I love what you said about transitioning season to season, because we think about hair color, nail color, style as far as fashion, but transitioning fragrances is also part of that.
Yes, and also you can spray this in your hair. So
Oh, okay.
yes, so I love that trail. I think about the trail because the trail is what makes your scent memorable. And that is actually what gets you compliments, right? Like if people, not everybody's going to be smelling you up super close. So if you want that trail, there's different, you can put it on your scarf, you can put it on your hair. There's just like other elements of scent that can make you this beautiful cloud of scent.
Thank you so much. So now my office, of course, because I've got several of the items here with me. My
Yeah.
office smells delicious. Thank you so much for that. Ellis Brooklyn. Well, we appreciate you being with us. It's really a privilege to have the founder of the brand, for our customers, and so they can learn about the brand directly from you is really a really nice treat for us. So thank you so much for joining us. And Exchange Beauty Tribe, please keep in mind that, of course, thank you for watching us. And then also keep in mind that you can find all of the products that Bee told us about today at shopmyexchange.com. And of course, if you can get into one of the stores and try them firsthand, that'd be great as well. But you always enjoy 15% less than MSRP. Bee, it's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us today. Is there anything you want to leave, maybe just a last note for our customers?
You know what? I'm a big believer in small treats for yourself. So I think of scent as our guiltless treat, basically. So I'm wishing everybody that guiltless treat, whatever it is that you consider your treat.
Thank you so much. Yes, Beauty Tribe, thanks again for joining us, and look for our next Beauty Live coming up soon. You guys have a great rest of your week. Thank you, Bee.
Thank you so much.